Welcome back, friends, to the Ink to Film podcast, where we read the book and then see the movie. I'm filmmaker James Bailey.
And I'm writer Luke Elliott.
And this week, we are continuing our From the Vault episodes. This time we're doing Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. This is the Rock project.
Rock. And Jack Black, of course.
Correct, yeah. Kevin Hart, Karen Gillian, I think her name is.
Karen Gillian, who, I did really like in this movie.
This is a fun one. You know, I think we like to do some of these like off the wall, kind of like offshoot from previous episodes that we did in the main feed. We did Jumanji.
Very modern blockbuster feel to this movie.
Yeah, we did Jumanji with Robin Williams a long time ago in the main feed. So it's fun to kind of get back into this world. And they made a bunch of these movies, these Jumanji sequels. So
I haven't seen any of the sequels still. So
yeah.
At some point,
besides this one.
No, I mean sequels to this movie. Yeah, this is kind of a sequel. You're right. I forgot about that. Yeah, there's some interesting stuff to get into with this one. I know it was a fun one. So yeah, hopefully you all enjoy. I did want to just give everybody a heads up. Next week we're still gone, and what we're going to be releasing is a series of mini interviews that we did with former guests at Worldcon. It's going to be a video on our YouTube, and I highly recommend watching this video just to like kind of get the full vibes of it. But we'll also be releasing the audio, which you can listen to, and it also should sound good. So it should be fun, and that's what we're going to do next week. But then after that, we'll be back.
We'll be back.
One day, I promise. We'll be back.
I will say, as like a teaser for that episode coming up, one of my favorite videos that we put together for the podcast, like really fun. So definitely check it out.
You did great work editing that together.
Thanks.
I was really impressed with it. Yeah.
So Seattle Worldcon, it was a big event that we did this year. It was really fun. We got to interview Martha Wells and see tons of cool people, and it was amazing. And this is like another peek into that. So if you want to see some more of what that was like, check it out next week.
All right, but for now, we're going to be releasing this former Patreon exclusive of Jumanji to the main feed, so enjoy.
We are discussing a Jumanji sequel titled Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. It's Jake Kasdan's 2017 film.
And this is a movie I had not seen. I will fully admit I saw the trailer for it, and I thought, that looks amusing, but probably not for me. It was just kind of the vibe I got from it. I was like, I didn't feel compelled. It was just not something that interested me enough. And I'm happy to report I had a pretty good time with this movie. It's just, it's not great movie making. It's not like amazing cinema. It's not something that I'm going to be like telling everybody to go see, but it was pretty fun. It had clever moments. It actually had like some pretty cool, video game, sort of meta stuff going on. It's pretty on the nose and maybe a bit obvious, but like, as a gamer, I liked that. And then it even interacted with the original Jumanji in a few clever ways, which we can definitely get into. So I had a pretty good time with this. Was this one you had seen before, or did you watch it for the first time here?
Yeah, I had seen this before. Okay. So I'd just say that like I enjoyed watching this film both times, but I'm of two minds about it, and I think that's kind of something you're leading to here. It's funny. It's got like the sort of Marvel sense of humor to it. It's got like some of the hallmarks of like the current blockbuster fare where they have this amazing cast. Yeah. But I love all these people in the cast. Like
a bunch of superstars, and then the body swap stuff. That's always gonna lead to a lot of just comedic stuff. Yeah. For sure.
This kind of reminds me, and I think this movie is a little bit better and does what it sets out to do a little bit more, but this reminds me a bit of the film we got this year, the Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves.
Really? I think I like Dungeons & Dragons better than this movie.
That's what I'm saying. I like that movie more than this as well.
You said I think this movie, and you're referring to Dungeons & Dragons. Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotcha. Yeah, I agree. I think Dungeons & Dragons was better.
But do you agree that it's kind of in the same vein?
Totally. It's like they've figured out how to make blockbusters now, and they're kind of plugging in certain properties. But in their defense, the original Jumanji was really a movie that was like for people who liked playing board games and wanted to see like a board game come to life. That's what the original book was, right? Like Chris Van Allsburg, we talk about him in our original episode we did on it. He wrote this book in which these kids get this board game that comes to life, and it brings a bunch of animals into the house, and it's larger than life and fun. That's the appeal of the children's book. And then that's the appeal of the movie that we get with Robin Williams. It's a lot of just over the top, wild stuff. It was good for children. And ultimately this is like doing the same thing for a new audience, modernizing it in a way that makes sense. it's hard to fault them for this movie, even as you look at it and go like, of course this is going to be a huge fucking blockbuster with everything that's in it.
The way that I'm of two minds, though, is something you kind of led to. This isn't cinema. This isn't groundbreaking cinema that's going to like push,
which like, I feel like we're inherently coming off as snooty when we say that, though, right?
Sure.
Like that's like, oh my gosh, it sounds so snooty.
But like you have to. I think all audiences have to know they're walking into like, this is blockbuster fare, popcorn movie, no question about it. And that's kind of why some of the time I look at something like this and I'm like, of course it made a ton of money, and of course it's got sequels, and it's gonna appeal to a lot of people as broadly appealing sort of action film with good humor in it. But man, there are some times where I'm just like, is the snake eating its own tail at this point? Like, are we? Because we're just like, it's like the same formula.
Yeah.
And they're put it on X property that has name recognition already. Like, this is the thing that people already know of, and then kind of tweak it a little bit, do another Ghostbusters, do another this, do another like. I like, of course that's the argument to be had, but I still enjoyed myself watching this movie ultimately. So who am I to say, you know, what people are allowed to watch or not? I just think this is a symptom of what we've now built up as like a blockbuster. And it, you know, I love seeing like really thought-provoking, intentional filmmaking.
So the way I kind of reckon with this, because I agree with you, but I try and realize that I have a very unique in the sense of like, my perspective is who I am, being, you know, 38-year-old man at this point, who's seen a lot of these kinds of movies over the years, has grown up with them, seen them evolve over time, seen them come out. And like, among this kind of film, there are some that are really bad. And you're like, I can't believe this made as much money as it did. It's really just like creatively bankrupt. That's not this movie. There's a lot of clever stuff that made it in here. I'm not saying it's amazing, but like I didn't walk away like angry that this movie did well, which like can happen sometimes. I'm like, yeah, this movie deserved to do well. They knew it was going to. Like, that was the goal of it. And then they made like an entertaining film that was fun and had, you know, like memorable moments. And I was laughing during this movie at different times. Some of the jokes were really good.
I think the thing that I want to point to here that really like solidified this for me too is like, I'll get away from the idea of it being like some big blockbuster general fare that feels similar to other things. When you just compare it to the original Jumanji, though, there's something about Jumanji that feels unique for its fare even at that time, and there's a feel to that movie that feels like lived in, and there's this texture that I just didn't feel in this one as much, but I still enjoyed myself watching this movie. It's still, especially like speaking to somebody who's
it is a bit of a CGI fest. I will give you that too. Like,
sure, but and that like, so to be honest, like there's some terrible effects in the original Jumanji too, though. Remember those like CG stampedes? Like,
no, you're right.
Yeah, but it's something, and of course you don't have Robin Williams any longer. You have like The Rock.
You get Jack Black.
Jack Black,
who's great.
National treasure. Yeah. Jack Black. I love Jack Black. I like The Rock. I really like Kevin Hart.
Okay, so I was gonna say like I'm a fan of The Rock. He's not. I don't know. There was like a period in my teenage years where I actually did watch wrestling, and it was right in the heyday of The Rock being like, it was like him and Stone Cold.
Totally. When WWE was like the biggest thing in the world, yeah.
And it was a huge time, and he was particularly big at the time. So like he is still that megastar for me, but he also always has a bit of that like wrestler who's acting vibe, even though I know he's kind of gone beyond that now.
Did you like The Rock though? Like, did you like that Attitude Era, like eyebrow
raising?
I liked
him okay. Kinda... He was never like my guy. You know, because like that's the thing, when you watch wrestling, you glom onto a few certain wrestlers, or like your guy that you're rooting for. He was never.
I know Stone Cold was like the guy at that time period.
Yeah, it's funny because I was always more of an Undertaker fan.
Okay, I could see that.
If you like the dark metal part of me, then you probably understand why that would be. He was my guy. But anyway, Kevin Hart is one for me where like he's pretty funny. I get why people like him.
Do you like his stand-up at all? Or
his stand-up's okay. I don't know, and maybe that'll piss people off, but like. I recognize that he's obviously a very clever comedian. He does have a bit of a shtick that he does, and that's fine. I feel like all comedians kind of do. And it's how much do you like that, and how much does it appeal to you? And to me, it's always just been kind of okay. And the thing is, like a lot of comedians like him, when they get into movies, they just do their stuff. Like, they just do their brand of humor. And he's doing that here. And at times, it really works. And at other times, it becomes kind of like just the Kevin Hart thing.
Sure.
for me, to where it didn't land as much. I'm like, okay, it's just Kevin Hart being Kevin Hart, and like I lose a little bit of the whole like premise that this is this Fridge character in Kevin Hart, in this like Kevin Hart version. It's like all of a sudden he became Kevin Hart. I'm like, all the other people, you could still see like a lot of the original person shining through, I felt like. And for Kevin Hart and this character, they're just like, yeah, whatever. He's just Kevin Hart now. I don't know. Like he made references to being Fridge, but like I just didn't see like moments. Like I don't know if maybe the work wasn't done enough setting it up, where they could have given the guy who played Fridge more opportunities to show that he has a personality that's like that. He wasn't like cracking jokes. He wasn't this like super charismatic dude that like is the personality of Kevin Hart's character. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm a little more mixed on him.
They definitely were leaning on that whole like rock Kevin Hart vibe, like them two together as like a unit, being like something that puts butts in seats and everything. And like
Totally.
like I'll say this: Jack Black, incredible. Karen Gillan, big fan.
The idea of this like Instagram model being in Jack Black's body is so funny.
Such a good performance too. Like
he does a lot of good work with that.
So
just
good.
Like, just
He's
selling
excellent.
it.
I think some of the stuff that The Rock did, he's playing against type in many ways, which is fun for him.
That's always fun. I mean, it reminds me of there was like this slew of Schwarzenegger, Hulk Hogan, like there was a few of these just like big action stars, even Sylvester Stallone a little bit, although I think he did less of this, where they would like be in a big action movie where they're badasses, but then there was something about them that was very against type. Like, they're like, Mr. Nanny or something, or they're, whatever it is, there's something about them that's just very unusual. The Rock has always he's always played in that space. Like I can think of few films where he actually is like the very serious action star. Like he usually has a comedic side to him, and that plays well with what he was as a wrestler too. But like, I always wonder like what he could do with more truly dramatic roles. And I know he's done a few of them. Like I'm not like an expert on his filmography, and I know he's done a few, but like he seems to gravitate to a lot of these like humorous action roles.
And that's also what's popular now too. So this period of time too, there was like the early to mid 2010s. He was the biggest box office draw in the world, even with the Marvel movies going on and everything like that. So I wanted to address just the fact that like Robin Williams makes the original Jumanji what it was as well. He's such a heavy part of that. And I think it's fun to reinvent it in this way, this era, everything that they do with it. There's some cleverness that goes on. And the references basically to like, rather than being in the real world and playing Jumanji in our world, they're in Jumanji's world, like Alan Parrish was Robin Williams' character.
They get pulled into Jumanji Land, and we get to explore a little bit more Jumanji Land type stuff. And I love that they have this spot where Alan Parrish was here. He was like, he lived in this place, and now Nick Jonas has taken up residence. When he came on screen, I was like, "Is this a Jonas?
Is this a Jonah?
Is this a Jonah?" Yeah. And then I had to look it up because I'm not like super familiar. And then I was like, "Oh, okay, it is a Jonas." I properly identified a Jonas in the wild.
Good for you. Man. He's good in this movie, by the way. I like him.
He's okay. There's one moment where, so he's mostly good. I did think there was one moment where I wasn't really believing him as an actor, and it was when he was portraying the like, I don't know if I can fly this helicopter. I'm freaking out. I'm having this like panic attack. Something about that moment just rang really hollow for me. So, I'm sure I'm being nitpicky, but everybody else is, I didn't have like really any criticisms of their performance. Maybe you could say with Kevin Hart, I was being a little harsh too, but like he was still entertaining. He was just doing his thing. But yeah, Jonas was the one I thought like had a moment where it wasn't quite selling me on the emotion that I was supposed to be believing from him.
Yeah. So just to talk about the film production a little bit here and the people who created it, Jake Kasdan is the director. And Jake Kasdan is actually the son of very famous filmmaker Lawrence Kasdan, who was co-writer on Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, Force Awakens, Solo. He's the Raiders of the Lost Ark. He also co-wrote Raiders of the Lost Ark. I mean, like the Lucas guy. Like he works with Lucas and Spielberg.
Raiders of the Lost Ark is a huge influence on this movie, by the way. I feel like referenced multiple times.
So he's referencing his dad's co-written script,
That's
which
cool.
is interesting. Chris McKenna, Eric Summers, Scott Rosenberg, and Jeff Pinkner wrote the screenplay. So a lot of cooks in the kitchen here. Let's get like these really funny people who are very successful at writing these kind of blockbuster, funny action films. Yeah, and they shot this in Honolulu in September of 2016. It grossed 995 million worldwide, becoming the fifth highest grossing film of 2017.
I mean, $1 billion movie. There you go. Yeah, Karen Gillan, you mentioned earlier. I thought she was really good here. I don't really know her. Should I know her from something else? Like, have I seen her in something else?
The first time I knew her, she was Amelia Pond in Doctor Who. She was a companion, and then she is Nebula. She's Nebula in Guardians of the Galaxy, the blue cyborg.
Oh, that's why her face is familiar. Because I'm like, damn, her face is familiar. But I can't remember where I've seen her from. Usually, it's covered in blue.
Yep, she's been in some other stuff as well. You'd probably know her from, but she's just great. I've always liked her. She's like funny. She's super capable in all of her roles. She's always like, and then she's just a great actor. And this role to play like the clearly like not functional, like sexy fighter girl in the woods.
That was my favorite thing, man. That whole sequence where she's getting lessons. I mean, it's so broad, right? Of course, this is a scene that happens, but she's getting lessons for how to flirt from an Instagram model who's in Jack Black's body. So it's Jack Black, and he's given her all of this, like, this is how you do your hair, this is how you do the look. And then the way she's doing it so badly is just so funny to me. And it's like, I don't know. Again, maybe this is not like the most highbrow humor, but man, is it funny. And then seeing her like herky-jerky walk up to the group as she's trying to do all of the lessons she learned, and she's just like bombing. It's hilarious.
She's so good.
Really good stuff.
The comedy in this is in the way that it plays with a video game. Like, it feels like you're leveling through a video game, all the ways that they set it up like that.
We're both big gamers, and so I immediately was thinking, like, this is definitely like playing in our wheelhouse, right? Like, we're a lot like this main character, Spencer. like, this is what we do a lot of. We would definitely like recognize a lot of the rules of gaming if you were in a game.
At one point, that he just starts walking in a direction, and one of the other characters is like, "What are you doing? You're just walking?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Yeah, you just start exploring the space and figure it out."
Just you'll probably go to the right place. That's how video games are. So many moments like that I did think were very clever. Maybe they were a little obvious at times, but like in particular, Rhys Darby, when he shows up as this NPC character, I thought was really, really funny, and how he just keeps, not only does he say the same thing, but he has like a very similar bit of dialogue, but just with a different character plugged in. That's really clever, man. And then the moments where they're like just repeating the same. Oh, just repeating the same line now. Like, he doesn't have any further dialogue, so we can leave.
Yep.
Really funny.
He's just great too. His delivery, his comedic chops are so, and like, you know, he works with like Taika Waititi, and he's like in What We Do in the Shadows, the film. He's you know, we're werewolves, not swearwolves, and like because they're fucking swearing at each other and stuff. It's so good, man.
Going all the way back to Flight of the Conchords.
Yeah,
he's in that. He's hilarious. He's like the band manager, and he just killed it in that.
Absolutely.
He's in Our Flag Means Death, which is a show that actually is really funny. I've been enjoying that
with Taika again.
Yeah, really, really good comedic performer, and you know, it's a small role here, but he's very funny. Probably made more money from this, you know, small role in this movie than he did in like a lot of the TV shows, but that's just the nature of Hollywood, right?
Sure, yeah. So I guess just to say the plot a little bit, there's these teenagers, they all get detention, they find Jumanji has now morphed from board game to video game.
So there was like a mid-90s bedroom, which I wasn't sure what time period we were supposed to be in. I thought maybe it was 80s, but it's later revealed it was like 96. And it's this character who's got Metallica like a Metallica flag on the wall, and he's wearing a Justice for All t-shirt, and he's got a Master of Puppets. Like, I was like, dang, okay, I like this guy. He reminds me of me at that age. Although he's a little older than I would have been at that time period, but I was getting into Metallica around that time, around 96. Probably more like 98 is when I was really starting to get into them, but cool to see. And then, he's like not interested. He's like, who plays board games anymore? Which it did make me laugh, but also like I still play board games to this day. I actually think there are a lot of people who really enjoy board games. There's been a resurgence, but there is like some attitude, especially among maybe younger folk who are like more into video games, might say that. And then I love the idea that Jumanji, it just like wants to trap people. It's like, it's this whole thing. So it's like, oh, you like this other kind of game, do you? Next time you open me up, I am now going to be a video game.
Yeah, it's clever. And like, you can assume there's a sequel to this. So you can assume like something else similar happens. Like, I don't know. I've never seen that one. So we may talk about that one.
Maybe we cover it. I feel better about this franchise now after seeing this. I was pretty cold on the trailer. I was just like, I don't know. And like, this was pretty fun. I would watch another one of these movies.
Yeah. So these teenagers, they find Jumanji as a video game. They plug it in while they're in detention, and they start playing. They pick different characters, which I thought was interesting too, because it's like Robin Williams' Alan Parrish character didn't have an opportunity to choose a character that he would inhabit when he went into Jumanji, but these people did.
I think you choose your little figure on the board game. So there's like certain things, like obviously video game is going to be changed because it's a different form. So I guess you could argue like that's why, but like, yeah, that's true. He didn't like embody character, but maybe that's just the method of getting there. It's just so different. But then like the world of Jumanji is like a video game when they go there. So clearly the world itself adapts to the medium through which it's being viewed. So when he was there, it must have been different because it was a board game. And then now it's changed. I don't know. I'm probably overthinking this, but like it's fascinating to think about the rules of this like fantasy world that you get transported to. And I don't know. Yeah, how it all worked.
They get sucked in, and like we've said, Spencer is the main character.
One kid gets sucked in the 90s, just like in the other film where there's like somebody already. It's
kind of off screen for that. Like we see him like plug it in, and then we cut away. We don't see him.
I think we see like flashing lights or something. Like we know something happened to him, and then we hear about this freak house, and like it's all run down. And there's this missing kid. Although they don't really highlight it that much, but I got that. I was like, okay, that kid went missing. And then we later find him again in Jumanji.
So we have Spencer Gilpin. He's like the awkward main character. We have the athletic Anthony Fridge Johnson, ditzy Bethany Walker, and intelligent Martha Capley. They're all given detention for different reasons. Spencer becomes muscular archaeologist Dr. Xander Smolder Bravestone. Fridge becomes zoologist Franklin Mouse Finbar. Bethany as male cartographer and paleontologist Professor Sheldon Shelley Oberon, and Martha as sultry martial arts expert Ruby Roundhouse. And they each have 3 marks on their arm that just denote that they have 3 lives in the game.
Pretty obviously from the jump. I like you get to play with huge archetypal characters. You get to make them very broad. You get to put her in the like sexualized outfit because that's what, often happens in video games.
Well, so, Tomb Raider specifically. It's got to be Tomb Raider specifically. Tomb Raider outfit.
I like that they had the Uncharted poster on Spencer's wall because I feel like this game, if you would look at the game of Jumanji, seems very akin to like an Uncharted kind of
Not to mention that the beginning of the movie starts off, there's a big Sony logo. So this is a Sony film. So they were like, oh, let's put all our property into it.
There was a lot of PlayStation properties in that room, so I guess I should have expected that.
Yeah. And I'm a big Uncharted fan too.
I think I just like black out when I see like logos. Yeah. Because I didn't even remember the Sony logo.
Yeah, I like Uncharted a lot, and yeah, definitely. Uncharted is a line from Indiana Jones, is a line to adventure films, all kinds of stuff like that. So, cool to see it. At least like they use the correct Sony property if they're gonna product place. So,
totally. I mean, you could totally see it coming. They're all gonna get detention. They're all gonna get together. But it doesn't matter because it's still fine. It's still fun.
So we were talking about that Rhys Darby scene where he's doing all the dialogue, but I also love the moment where he's like, we're going into the flashback now, and they like just go into a flashback and they're seeing it, which is really funny. He's like, this happens in video games. And then at the end of it, he's like, and I stole the stone and here it is. And he's like, all right, off on your mission. And he just gives them that like, the jewel, whatever it's called, Jaguar's eye.
I was expecting this 5th player. I mean, they set it up. They knew he was coming eventually. So you have this outstanding mystery that kind of helps pull you along too if you needed it. Like another little bit is you're like, when are they going to run into this other guy? He's out there somewhere. They finally do run into him. He takes them through this like, a bunch of tunnels and like almost like a labyrinth of like a D&D dungeon or something where he's like memorized all the ways to get through. It was very reminiscent of Raiders of the Lost Ark, honestly, and some of these traps. Throughout, they're getting threatened by a lot of different animals that are all like fully CGI'd. But they're supposed to be like hyper aggressive, and you can argue that's maybe why they went this route, because like a normal animal wouldn't really qualify. Plus, the original had a bunch of CGI animals, so maybe you're in keeping with that.
The villain he got that jewel, and he's able to like control animals as well.
Well, yeah, he's got a bunch of fucking insects like going into his ear and shit, like very gross.
They went so over the top with that stuff too, which I do appreciate because that is a video game villain, right? Like he's all fucking zombied out and shit.
Yes
and
no, you know what I mean? Like I feel like
he's an Uncharted villain. Let's say
it depends on
like,
the kind of game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the one thing is that like video games get a little bit of a bad rap sometimes for not being actually nuanced storytelling. And actually, you know what I mean? Like they get kind of a bad rap for being like this, like super campy, but they can be super campy, and this kind of game would be. So I guess it makes sense.
I think there's plenty of examples of like really nuanced, incredible films, just storytelling that couldn't have been done in any other medium.
So body swap humor throughout. continues to be hilarious.
A lot of penis
skinny
jokes.
dude. Yeah, the penis jokes, very funny. The skinny dude being in the big rock body, just all of it honestly is pretty funny. Even Kevin Hart, as I gave him shit for like kind of doing his thing, he delivers a lot of really funny lines. Just being the guy with the backpack, and the guy with the backpack doesn't go in the water, and just like all kinds of little stuff he does throughout that continues to be funny. The kiss moment, we got, that was hilarious, where they go in for the kiss, and credit to the performers for just like going for this fucking wild, tongue on the cheek, just like it was pretty gross. It was just a really weird moment. And it was very funny, and clearly it was like, don't know what the fuck we're doing. It's the first time ever kissing. Same thing with the margaritas and how they like can't stomach them. That was funny. Again, they did a lot to sell that these are like actually teenagers in these bodies, which like you have to believe that little bit of like I don't know what the word for that would be. Like it's like the magic of this moment. You have to buy in to believe anything you're seeing and to like find any of it funny. But I think they did a good job of selling that. And each of them, and maybe to a lesser extent Kevin Hart, but like most of them really, really sell that they are someone else playing this person.
I definitely want to talk about the strengths and weaknesses stuff, because I found that to be really funny, and like how that would come in. But I would say the cake one was a bit much for me. There are a few that were like just like, okay, hilarious.
Like, no one would have in a video game, the idea that you would have a weakness of cake is ridiculous.
It's just a joke, I guess, that they wanted to tell. But the strengths are cool, because like seeing Karen Gillan like dance fight those guys to what song is that, Baby I Love Your Way by Big Mountain, and just how like it's such a song that I have not thought about in such a long time. And I do enjoy that song. Like it's just like I don't know, it takes me back, but it's really funny to see her like dancing and fighting.
She killed it.
She was so good. The Rock with his strengths, the way that he was just like so over the top powerful.
I like the speed stuff. Whenever he would start running, always looked really funny, because he would just start flying in like a magical way. I don't know, like just outpacing everybody. So I wanted to ask you, because I can't remember the time and the way that like time is dilated, and we have Nick Jonas saying like, I've been here a few months, and then he realizes he's actually been away from the real world for many decades now. In the movie, Alan Parrish comes out of the board game into the house, and he's old version of Alan Parrish now. He's Robin Williams. Mm-hmm. And so how long has he been in Jumanji then? Has he been there like 100 years?
No, I got your answer. So this is the answer to how it goes. So because you got to remember the end of Jumanji that does weird shit.
It does weird shit with time.
Because of the fact that he was still, Alan Parrish was still in the game. He was aging normally. And then eventually he transported back to his childhood body, just like this guy does at the end of this movie. Remember, Alan Parrish like transports
later on, but what about when he came out?
Because the game was still going on, and this guy's just like he's not obviously himself.
But why
he doesn't look
he
like
aged?
Nick Jonas, because he's a character. He's a character in the game, like The Rock.
But he said he'd only been there a few months. That's what's throwing everything off for me.
Well, it's just like when Alan Parrish comes out of Jumanji in the movie, he's like, "What year is it?" And like he doesn't know how long time.
You don't think he's experienced years in Jumanji Land? I felt like he had.
I think he did, but I just think that like they can't perceive time or something like that, like how much time has passed.
It just doesn't feel like it quite aligns. It's close.
Yeah.
But something about the way that only a few months has passed for him doesn't line up with how old Alan Parrish was when they interacted with him in the game. Yeah. But then, yeah, you're right, because we talked about how there's like some weird time stuff that goes on where like everything gets changed, and it's like now that all never happened, and it gets erased. And they actually did bring that into this movie where it's like, oh, nope, that house never existed now. You all remember it, but like, yet it did never happen. So it's very strange, right? Like, how does that all work? You're creating paradoxes.
Super crazy, yeah.
But
it's just playing fast and loose.
And now it's what, Colin Hanks? Nick Jonas grew into Colin Hanks. Okay.
I liked seeing him. It actually did hit an emotional chord for me. Like that ending there where they came back together, and then they go and see him, and all his time has passed, and he has this like he's named his daughter after the girl who saved him or whatever, all that stuff. When you think that you kind of know where it's gonna go, it's fine. I like it.
No, I mean, I not to downplay it. It was cute in a good way.
So I wanted to address just like how this came to be, because it's a sequel to Jumanji. Apparently there were plans for a sequel as early as the late 1990s. And there was a standalone sequel that was possibly coming out in 1999. That was being developed in 99. It was possibly coming out in 2000. That fell through. Just like I guess the writer at that point walked, and the creative differences, this and that. It comes back and forth. There's many different iterations. Like, apparently, the original author, what was his name again?
Chris Van Allsburg.
Van Allsburg was involved in like heavily involved with trying to get an adaptation made like from his vision. And that one eventually fell through. And then in 2012, rumors were circulating that a remake was coming. And of course, like during that time period, they were always thinking that they would somehow get Robin Williams to come back in some capacity. And then he's, of course, sadly passed in, I think like 2014 or something like that. And soon after that, that's when like everything went into overdrive, and they like fast tracked getting a film made 2015, 2016. And there was like some backlash to that because people felt like, he had just passed. They didn't want a Jumanji without him and that kind of thing. And they were riding on the heels of his death a little bit. People felt like in a weird way. But yeah, it was confirmed to be coming out in 2017, and that it was updated to be like a reboot kind of sequel with video games rather than board games. And the whole cast list came out and everything. That I think it's interesting that a film like this can come out of what Jumanji was, because it is so tonally different, and it's so modernized to like our current audiences.
Although the original Jumanji definitely had that like comedic element to it. It was made for kids.
It was dark, a little.
It did
like,
have some darkness to it, sure.
And this felt like bubblegum.
This felt lighter throughout, more of a comedy.
It felt like candy,
which is funny because you had Robin Williams in it. But yeah, it was more of a comedy. I agree with that.
And that's something that people underestimate about Robin Williams too, is that like he had crazy dramatic chops. Like his dramatic roles were incredible as well. So,
well, we released a whole episode on Jumanji in case you missed it. Go back in the feed and find it. We definitely talk a lot more about Robin Williams in that one. But yeah, man, this was a pretty fun movie. Like, I actually had a decent time with it. I would be down to watch a sequel at some point. And until next time,
keep adapting.